We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Modi to leave for his Japan visit today to hold key meetings focusing on defense, security, trade and economy. China visit for SEO summit to follow. Trump holds Gaza policy meeting at White House, predicts conclusive ending of the conflict by the end of the year. In US, 2 children dead and 17 others injured in shooting at Minneapolis Catholic school, mass shooter killed. Novak Djokovic advances to third round, while two-time runner-up Casper Ruud knocked out of US Open. On to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Japan from the 29th to 30th of August. Next level of investment and trade cooperation expected to be the top focus. The next report looks at the robust partnership between the two economic powerhouses of Asia. Take a look.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Japan from 29 to 30th August. In Tokyo, Prime Minister will engage with his Japanese counterpart Shigeru Ishiba in the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. While India and Japan share civilizational ties, economic cooperation forms the bedrock of their modern partnership. Prime Minister's visit is expected to give a new fillip to India-Japan economic relationship, particularly in the domain of trade, investment and cooperation in semiconductors and emerging technologies. The comprehensive economic partnership agreement between the two nations has significantly strengthened the bilateral trade, with over 1,400 Japanese companies operating in India and 11 industrial townships across 8 states hosting Japanese enterprises. Earlier on Wednesday, PM flagged off the e-Vitara, Suzuki's first made-in-India global strategic battery electric vehicle in Gujarat. These vehicles made in India will be exported to 100 countries. Expectations are high for Indian and Japanese businesses from Prime Minister Modi's visit.
When both our PMs meet, the key expectation is a roadmap for next generation cooperation, especially in clean energy, digital technology and supply chain security. With global uncertainties, both countries can set a model of democratic economic partnership. Strengthening defense and semiconductor collaboration will also be high on the agenda.
I believe the Japan-India partnership is necessity. Prime Minister Modi's visit will encourage more Japanese firms to collaborate with India.
India offers a young workforce and a large market, which supports Japan's economy. Together, our cooperation brings stability and prosperity.
Japan has been a key ally in India's economic growth. Foreign direct investment from Japan has exceeded $43 billion between 2000 and 2024, making it India's 5th largest source of foreign investment. India-Japan bilateral trade totaled $22.85 billion during financial year 23-24. Exports from Japan to India during this period were $17.69 billion and imports were $5.15 billion. Metro systems in Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bengaluru and Chennai and the upcoming Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail reflect the potential of India-Japan economic partnership. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Japan is expected to open up new exciting avenues of growth and investment. In an era of geopolitical uncertainties and tariff diplomacy, India and Japan show the roadmap for democracies to partner and thrive together. With camera person Shailendra Chauhan, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in Tokyo.
Well, India and Japan are close economic and strategic partners. DD India correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh speaks with Indian ambassador to Japan, C.P. George, on the significance of the Prime Minister's visit. Take a listen.
Ambassador to Japan, Ambassador C.P. George, welcome to DD India, sir. What will be Prime Minister Modi's key engagements during this visit?
Thank you very much. When you look at India-Japan relationship, we have excellent relationship. We have a civilizational connect, we have a cultural connect. You go in this country, any part of the country, you will see that there is an India connect. And based on that solid foundation is that we have built our relationship. So, in this annual summit, what is it special? We have seen significant progress in our relationship in the last 10, 11 years in that relationship. It is special. It is strategic, it is global, and it is a real partnership. We have seen progress. So the leadership will review that progress and, of course, give a new roadmap to take that relationship to further higher levels.
Today, there's a lot of excitement around the bullet train project that is taking shape in India with support from Japan. What can we expect? Will that also be the focus of conversations between the leaders?
See, there are several elements in this relationship. You know, as I mentioned, economic partnership is a very important part of our engagement. And there are other elements which have been building our relationship, infrastructure projects. So many Japanese companies have participated in various infrastructure projects in India. One of such projects is our MAHSR project. And we are making progress in that project. In 2027, we will have a train running on the Ahmedabad-Mumbai project.
Emerging technologies, semiconductor manufacturing and the supply chain is another focus area. Can we expect some progress in that domain as well in this visit?
See, when you look at our relationship, it is a quite comprehensive, very broad relationship, which involves several aspects. One, our traditional business engagement. There are other major elements in our relationship: semiconductors, quantum computing, critical technology, drones, robotics, space. There are so many areas where we are cooperating at every level. Semiconductor is a very important area. India is making so much progress in and investment in that area, and Japan is also doing it.
We understand they're also part of the Quad grouping. Although this is a bilateral visit, in strategic defense and developments, what could be the areas in focus?
We have seen that India and Japan have been working very closely in various plurilateral mechanisms. Both are members of G20. We participate, we actively engage in various plurilateral mechanisms, and one of that is Quad. And Quad is very important because four like-minded countries have come together with a common vision for peace, stability, security, and prosperity in the region, and with concrete ideas. So we are making progress in that, and of course, these are the plurilateral engagement will also continue to be part of our engagement between India and Japan.
That was India's ambassador to Japan talking about Prime Minister's upcoming visit to Tokyo and the manner in which it will provide fresh momentum to the ties between India and Japan. With Team DD India, Shubhendu Ghosh in Tokyo, Japan.
Well, India and Japan are key strategic partners in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. DD India correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh speaks with noted geopolitical expert Dr. Satoru Nagao on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming visit to Japan.
There are great expectations from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming visit to Japan. India and Japan are also strategic allies. To talk about it, I have with me Dr. Satoru Nagao from the Hudson Institute. He's an expert in the Indo-Pacific affairs. Dr. Nagao, welcome to DD India. First, your take on the importance of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan, and how do you see the potential, the strategic potential of India-Japan partnership?
Huge potential we can see, because we can remember the one word Prime Minister Shinzo Abe addressed in the Indian Parliament in 2007. That time he said, strong India is best interest for Japan. And strong Japan is best interest for India too. Of course, that's a great information for us. So, when the Prime Minister Modi, strong leader, leading the stable government in India, we can see strong India and strong Japan cooperate each other. that will really happen. We can see what happened in the Indian Ocean. Recently, Indian Navy deployed in the Arabian Sea to secure the sea lane of communication in the Arabian Sea. That is the reason sea lane is safe. So now Japan is focusing on Africa. India, of course, Japan is focusing on. Africa, Japan focusing on. And Middle East, Japan focusing on. So Japan suggests Indian Ocean, Africa Economic Zone Initiative. That is new concept. This is India's IMEC is overlap the region. IMEC is India, Middle East, Europe. So in the Arabian Sea and the sea around the Arabian Sea, there is a huge opportunity, security and economy. So these are strategic potential. In this case, India and Japan collaborate. And this collaboration will make the new future, new order in the world. So that's why huge potential is waiting in this visit.
Right. And if you talk about the Indo-Pacific region, which is critical, where the interests of India and Japan converge, there's of course the Quad grouping, of which Australia and America are also part of. As an expert in the area, how do you see the key opportunities and challenges in the zone of the Indo-Pacific?
How to secure the trade, economy, and this is very important because Indo-Pacific, why this is important? This is developing very fast pace. So future is bright, but how to maintain development is very important. In this case, security is matter. India is a security provider in the Indian Ocean. And Japan is security provider in the Pacific side. And Japan try to be now. So in this case, collaborate each other. What will happen? For example, India's influence. Security providers, India provides security in the Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa, all of the coastal region of the Indian Ocean. And with Australia and the US, all of these four countries provide security in the full of the Indian Ocean and the Pacific both. So that is a very important potential. So that's why Quad is very important. Of course, some countries, which I cannot say the name of the country, is challenging such kind of order. But if Quad cooperate, of course, we have the enough power to secure this region. Secure this region means that economic development will follow. Bright future will come. That's why cooperation between India and Japan, strong India and strong Japan, is very important.
Dr. Nagao, thank you very much for speaking with DD India. That was Dr. Satoru Nagao from the Hudson Institute, giving his perspective on the significance of India-Japan partnership, particularly in the context of the Indo-Pacific and beyond. With camera person Shailendra Chauhan, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in Tokyo.
Well, preparations are on to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Japan. On the day of his arrival, the iconic Sky Tree in Tokyo will be lit in the colors of the Indian tricolour. And there is more. DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh gets us the details.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Japan. Preparations have started here in Tokyo to extend a special welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Right now, I'm in the heart of Tokyo in Sumida district. Next to me is the iconic Sky Tree in Japan at over 600 meters. It is the tallest star in Japan and the world. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Tokyo, in a unique honor, the star will be lit in the colors of the tricolour. It's a unique honor rarely extended to a visiting dignitary or a nation. It will bear testimony to close India-Japan friendship when Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives. And now we are at the top of the observation deck of Sky Tree in Tokyo, about 450 meters high from the ground. From here you get a bird's eye view of the Tokyo city. You see the skyscrapers, you see the Sumida River, the seaport, and much more. This is also a place where a special yoga session will be organized when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Tokyo. It was Prime Minister Modi's vision to make yoga a global phenomena with International Day of Yoga. And at this height of 400 meters, yoga is going to be literally at the top of the world. These special experiences are sure to make Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan a memorable one. With camera person Shailendra Chauhan, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in Tokyo.
Well, Japan is home to a small but dynamic Indian diaspora. Taking forward the civilizational links between the two nations, diaspora members are eagerly looking forward to Prime Minister Modi's Japan visit. Here's what they shared with DD India correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh.
It's a great honor to have Modi ji here each time. I think this is his 8th visit to Japan. And this time it's quite significant because it's the first time he's attending annual summit with Mr. Prime Minister Ishiba-san. Okay, and let's see, they make great deals together and they are going to sign an agreement also regarding the E10 coaches of Japan, which will be used for the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet trains. Yeah, they are going to sign up in Sendai. Let's hope for the best. I'm looking forward to meet Modi ji on 29th.
Prime Minister Modi and Shinzo Abe-san's relation was very special, and he took the Japan's relations to a very great height by introducing bullet trains. So their relationship was very special. And right now, Prime Minister Modi is going to come to Japan, and we are very excited. And given the current world scenario, it's a very important moment that he's going to visit Japan. And it's always special that Japan and India has a very good relation, and I wish that continues.
As Indians living in Japan, we enjoy tremendous love and respect from the Japanese people. They shower us with a lot of affection and respect, and I believe that Modi ji's visit to Japan is a celebration of this mutual love and respect that both countries have for each other, and we are very excited and happy to see where this harmonious relationship is going to go.
Indian diaspora is very excited to receive Modi ji, and we are all waiting for 29th. So it is, I think it will be a very important event when both prime ministers meet, and we hope some good big policies are taken, big decisions are taken for the benefit of India and Japan.
I'm living in Japan for last 35 years, and in 2006 we opened a Japanese company in Nimrana in Rajasthan. We are manufacturer of nail clippers, razors and kitchen knives, and we are following the policy of Make in India, which has been implemented by Shri Narendra Bhai Modi, our beloved Prime Minister. And I always look forward for his visit to Tokyo.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a phone call from the President of Finland, Alexander Stubb. Finland President Stubb shared his assessment on the recent meetings held between the leaders of Europe, the United States and Ukraine in Washington on resolution of the conflict in Ukraine. Also, Prime Minister Modi reiterated India's consistent support for peaceful resolution of the conflict and early restoration of peace and stability. Also, the leaders reviewed progress in the India-Finland bilateral relationship and reaffirmed their commitment to enhance partnership in emerging fields, including quantum technologies, 6G, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and sustainability. President Stubb reiterated Finland's support for an early conclusion of a mutually beneficial India-EU free trade agreement. He also affirmed support for the success of the AI Impact Summit to be hosted by India in the year 2026. Also, Prime Minister extended invitation to President Stubb to visit India at an early date. The leaders agreed to remain in touch. And in an exclusive conversation with DD India, Fiji Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka said that the Quad comprising India, Australia, Japan and the US serves Fiji's interest very well. He described the grouping as a trusted partner for the region.
At the moment, Quad, as it is serving our interests very well, in that it is a bloc that we have trusted for longer than any other defense or security development partners, and one that we are comfortable with, having same sort of roots and traditions, and one I hope can develop further.
Well, Fiji Prime Minister also hoped that China will respect the independence of Fiji and other Pacific Island states and their right to choose who to partner with.
Hopefully they will respect our independence and our right to choose who to partner with in those strategic areas.
And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, Trump's tariffs could shrink US GDP by 6%, cut wages, raise prices, and hit households hard. But for India, Fitch says the impact will be modest as exports to the US make up only 2% of GDP. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya with this report.
United States slammed a 50% tariff on Indian goods, effective from 27th of August. This move, triggered by India's purchase of Russian oil, has put nearly $48 billion worth of export at risk. From textiles and gems to seafood and furniture, Indian exporters are bracing up for a storm. While some sectors like pharma, electronics and automobiles are exempted, the blow to labor-intensive industries is already being felt. But India isn't backing down. Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowed to protect small businesses, farmers and entrepreneurs. So how is India fighting back? First, New Delhi is accelerating efforts to diversify its trade, deepening talks with the European Union, United Arab Emirates, Australia, signing a free trade agreement with UK and even reopening channels with China. Second, by supporting exporters at home with policy shields to soften the impact. And third, by doubling down on self-reliance, reinforcing the Make in India vision. Trump's tariff is expected to have a cascading impact, with researchers warn they will cut US GDP by 6%, reduce wages by 5%, raise prices and cost middle-income households $22,000, stifling growth long-term. On the other hand, according to Fitch ratings, they expect the direct impact on India to be modest, since export to the US accounts for only 2% of the GDP, limiting overall damage from the tariff hike. This isn't just a trade fight, it's a test of resilience, how India adapts, innovates, and rises stronger in a shifting global order. This is Tapas Bhattacharya signing off.
Well, a shooter opened fire on Wednesday morning during Mass at a Minneapolis Catholic school, killing 2 children and injuring 17 others before he died by suicide. The shooting happened at Ammunition Catholic School just days after the first day of the school on Monday. Police said 14 of the injured were children and they are all expected to survive. The shooting was in the 146th such incident since January, according to the K-12 school shooting database. FBI Director Casper said the case was being investigated as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. Patel identified the attacker as Robin Westman, who public records show to be a 23-year-old resident of the area. Well, the officials said the shooter fired dozens of rounds using a rifle, a shotgun and a pistol, which were all purchased illegally. They said they had recovered additional firearms at other residences connected to Westman. Law enforcement officials said they were examining an online manifesto posted by Westman that has since been taken down.
At this point, we know we have a total of 19 victims from this tragedy. 2 were young children, ages 8 and 10, that were sitting in the pews at Mass when they were shot and killed. The coward that shot these victims took his own life in the rear of the church. That coward has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. No prior criminal history. There was a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. All 3 had been lawfully purchased by the shooter. Additional firearms are being recovered from those 3 residential locations as we speak.
Well, the White House flags were lowered to half-staff after U.S. President Donald Trump issued a proclamation to honor the victims of the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting. The order extends to all public buildings and grounds, at all military posts and naval stations, and all naval vessels of the federal government in the District of Columbia and throughout the United States and its territories through Sunday. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Truth Social that he has been briefed on the school shooting, describing it as a terrible situation. Well, the mourners attended a prayer vigil at the Academy of Holy Angels in Minneapolis for the victims of the Catholic Church shooting. A candlelight vigil was held in Lyndhurst Park in Minnesota. Prominent lawmakers made speeches at the vigil for the victims and families impacted. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison told the vigil crowd that we need to think and pray about banning these weapons of war. Authorities said the attack did not appear to be related to 3 other shootings over the past 24 hours in Minneapolis, including one at a Jesuit high school. And U.S. President Donald Trump presided over a policy meeting on Israel's conflict in Gaza and posed plans for the Palestinian territory on with input from former British Prime Minister Tony Blair and former Trump Middle East envoy Jared Kushner. Trump top White Office officials Blair and Kushner discussed the hostage crisis, plans to escalate food aid deliveries, post-conflict plans, and more. The official described the session as simply a policy meeting. Kushner was a key White House advisor on Middle East in Trump's first term. Blair was Prime Minister during the 2003 Iraq conflict, over which he has faced widespread criticism. Well, Trump had promised a quick end to the conflict in Gaza during his presidential campaign, but a resolution has been elusive 7 months into his second term. Trump cast the plan, which is not publicly mentioned in recent weeks, as a redevelopment idea to turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East. And separately, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar at the State Department on Wednesday to discuss key issues in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and Iran. In their meeting, Saar thanked Rubio for his firm commitment to standing by Israel over the years, as well as for the clear support of President Trump's administration for Israel. The 2 diplomats also discussed the various challenges and opportunities in the Middle East. The talks took place amid outrage over this week's double Israeli strike on Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza that killed journalists, emergency workers, and others. And all members of the United Nations Security Council except the United States jointly backed the IPC's declaration that famine in Gaza is a man-made crisis, despite Israel and the U.S. attacking the findings. In a joint statement, the 14 council members called for an immediate unconditional and permanent ceasefire, the release of all hostages held by Hamas and other groups, and for Israel to immediately and unconditionally lift all restrictions on aid delivery. Israel asked a global hunger monitor on Wednesday to retract an assessment. Israel dismissed the findings as false and biased, saying the IPC had based its survey on partial data largely provided by Hamas. And the UN Human Rights Office has raised alarm over worsening conditions for Rohingyas in Bangladesh and Myanmar as global funding cuts severely reduce access to food and basic services. Well, the UN spokesperson Jeremy Lawrence said the Rohingyas are facing dire conditions and urged the international community to increase humanitarian support. He emphasized the need for accountability and respect for the Rohingyas' rights to security, citizenship and equality. Since November 2022, the situation in Myanmar's Rakhine state has sharply deteriorated. Lawrence reported that both the Myanmar military and the Arakan army continue to commit serious crimes against the Rohingyas, violating international law and ignoring orders from the International Court of Justice. And closing submissions finished on Thursday in Hong Kong's marathon national security trial of pro-democracy tycoon Jimmy Lai. Lai has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces and 1 count of conspiracy to publish seditious material, offences that carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. The court said it would set a date for its verdict later. Lai is one of the most prominent figures to face prosecution under the national security law. His trial has been condemned by several countries, including the United States, as politically motivated. Hong Kong and Chinese authorities say Lai is receiving a fair trial. And still to come on DD India News. 2 terrorists killed as security forces foil infiltration bid along LOC in Gurez. We'll get you all the weather updates as rains continue to wreak havoc around the country. And Algeria, wildfires spread as heat wave continues, record burning in Spain too.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, in a major success to the Indian Armed Forces, 2 terrorists have been killed near the line of control in Gurez sector in an ongoing joint operation by the Indian Army and Jammu and Kashmir Police. Befitting reply has been given to unprovoked firing from the Pakistani side of the LOC, suspecting an infiltration bid by Pakistan-based terrorists. And on to some weather updates from India and globally. First with India. After 3 consecutive days of heavy rainfall, the weather in Jammu has started to improve and life is gradually returning to normal. Flash floods and landslides have caused extensive damage in several areas. Thousands of people have been safely evacuated while many others were rescued by the teams. Call and internet services have been restored, though electricity and water supply issues still persist in many places. Schools, colleges and universities will remain closed today, and people have been advised to exercise caution. Also, authorities have assured that every possible effort is being made to restore these essential services at the earliest. Incessant rains during the past 3 days also created a flood-like situation in various parts of Jammu, inundating several areas under waist-deep water and prompting the NDRF, SDRF, police and army to use boats to rescue people. Thousands of people were evacuated from low-lying flooded areas to safety. Well, amid the current flood-like conditions in Punjab, several villages across more than 10 districts are affected due to heavy discharge of water from Bhakra, Pong and Ranjit Sagar dams. Water is also being regulated through headworks to manage the flow. Heavy rainfall in the hills and the catchment areas of rivers Satluj, Ravi and Beas flowing through Punjab have caused floods. The Punjab government had declared holidays in all the schools across the state till 30th of August. The rainfall in Himachal Pradesh has slowed down over the past 2 days, but it will take several days for the disaster-affected areas to recover from the devastation caused by the earlier rains. In Kangra district, the water level in the Pong Dam on the Beas River has risen above the danger mark, prompting authorities to release 1.10 lakh cusecs of water. As a precautionary measure, 80 villages and 17 panchayats under the Indora and Fatehpur subdivisions have been ordered to be evacuated by 12 p.m. Meanwhile, most parts of Kullu, Manali and Chamba districts are witnessing the wrath of nature. Rocks have broken off and fallen into the roads, and the Beas River has engulfed settlements. People have seen houses and vehicles being swept away like toys, crumbling and submerging in the water. Mobile networks are still not fully active in these areas, and power and water supplies have been disrupted. Well, as several states of the country is struggling with nature's fury, multi-agencies, including National Disaster Response Force, are involved in rescue and relief operations on a war footing. Also, the Indian Air Force continues to demonstrate its commitment to national service by launching extensive relief and rescue missions in response to the rising water levels and devastating floods caused by incessant rains in Jammu region in northern Punjab. The IF stands ready to undertake further missions as the situation evolves, reaffirming its unwavering commitment to the nation and its citizens during times of natural calamity. Well, as we know, several parts of the country are struggling with nature's fury at the time, and Indian Air Force continues to demonstrate its indomitable spirit towards the nation, its commitment to national service by launching extensive relief and rescue missions in response to the rising water levels and devastating floods caused by incessant rains in Jammu region and northern Punjab. In fact, the IAF stands ready to undertake further missions as the situation evolves, reaffirming its unwavering commitment to the nation and its citizens during times of natural calamity. And for more, we have Gurmeet Singh joining us from Doordarshan, Punjab. Well, Gurmeet, continuous rain in many parts of Punjab right now. Rivers are in spate. Is the situation under control?
We cannot say exactly the situation is under control, but the district administration and the other agencies are constantly trying to bring the situation under control. Right now, I'm reporting from Dera Baba Nanak area of Gurdaspur village Hardowal, and I would like to show you the visuals over here. First of all, you can see these are the fields of this village, and where you can see all the crops are inundated in water, and this is the plight of almost all villages here, which are adjacent villages, village Kala, village Khurd and various other villages where the fields and the entire villages have been submerged into water, and the district administration is constantly trying to evacuate people and moving them to the safer areas. So right now, if I talk about specifically Gurdaspur, then there is a place called Bakoda Pattan, which is about 50 kilometers away from here. There are about 7 villages which have been submerged into water, and the people have been asked to go to the safer areas, and these 7 villages have been disconnected from rest of the country. And besides these villages, there are several other villages where the flood waters have reached, and if we talk about Pathankot, then the Jammu Pathankot Jalandhar highway, it is submerged in water. Water is overflowing there, and all 3 canals of the Pathankot, which is MB link canal and the other 2 canals, they are overflowing, and all 3 rivers, Ravi, Byas and Satluj, which are near the danger mark. So at the moment, Pathankot is also facing grim situation, and administration is constantly appealing and urging the people to contact the district administration through helpline numbers which have been issued if they want to share any kind of information with the district administration. If we talk about other border areas like Fazilka, Firozpur, lot of villages have got flood waters over there, and the people are displaced in large number, and district administration is constantly requesting people to move to the safer places. And the situation is almost same in 3-4 districts, which are Fazilka, Firozpur, Gurdaspur, Amritsar, few areas of Amritsar and Pathankot. So at the moment, I have few villages, few people, localites with me, so I would request talk to them and request them, like आप जैसे यहाँ पर रहते हैं, तो आपने अभी सुबह से अब तक क्या सिचुएशन देखी है?
सुबह से सिचुएशन ये है कि जब हम सुबह आए थे 8 बजे यहाँ 8 बजे सिर्फ 6 इंच पानी था, कोई पानी नहीं था, दूर तक कोई पानी दिखाई नहीं दे रहा था। अभी 2.5 घंटा में इधर 5 फुट पानी आया है, अभी तक कोई प्रशासन नहीं आया। प्रशासन आएगा तब जहाँ सब कुछ डूब जाएगा, उतनी देर कोई नहीं आएगा।
अच्छा, जो फसलों के बारे में है, जैसे कि गुरदासपुर में बता रहे हैं कि काफी एकड़ फसल, पठानकोट में भी और कुछ जिलों में भी, तो फसलों का जैसे आपके गांव में है और आसपास के गांव में, क्या यहाँ पर स्पेसिफिकली नुकसान आप देख रहे हैं फील्ड लेवल पर?
यहाँ गुरदासपुर जिले में नुकसान इतना है, हमारा ही गाँव विलेज हरदोरवाल में, ठीक है, 5,000 एकड़ का यहाँ ही नुकसान है, जिसको अभी तक किसी ने नहीं देखा, ना कोई देखने आया है। तब देखेंगे जब गल सड़कर पूरा खराब हो जाएगा, उतनी देर कोई नहीं। 5,000 एकड़ गुरदासपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट का हरदोरवाल कलां का ही खराब हुआ है, कि वही खराब है। बाकी जिले, बाकी विलेज छोड़ दो, कितना है, विलेज हरदोरवाल का ही 5,000 एकड़ जो है खराब हो चुका है।
अभी अगले कुछ घंटों में आपको क्या लगता है, ये पानी का स्तर बढ़ेगा या घटेगा? क्योंकि अभी तो सुबह से जैसे आप कह रहे हैं कि पानी का स्तर लगातार बढ़ रहा है, तो अभी क्या लग रहा है?
बढ़ रहा है, अभी बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। आप भी देख रहे हैं 15 मिनट में आपने देखा है कि पानी जो है 2 फुट ऊपर आ गया।
All right, Gurmeet. So
अभी तक पानी जो है आगे से पीछे को आ रहा है।
All right, Gurmeet, as we heard our correspondent talking to the locals there, and he was saying that the water level is increasing tremendously since the morning, and people there are facing a lot of problems. We are also connected by Rachna, our correspondent in Shimla. Rachna, what's the situation there right now there? And after the rain has slowed down, but Byas River is above the danger mark still.
Past 2 days, the monsoon has slowed down in Himachal Pradesh, but there is no relief for the people. Byas River is fully raging and it's overflowing from the danger mark. For precautionary measures, administration has evacuated 17 panchayats and 80 villages from the Kangra district. And today they have planned around 1.1 lakh cubic waters they were going to flow. In Bharmor district, where the communication lines were completely down, we have got the sources that there is around 3,000 people who are stuck in the Manimesh Yatra, and administration is trying their best to evacuate them from the helicopters and other mediums. Though the communication line is still not working and very slow down there. Apart from that, Mandi and Kullu district are severely affected. In fact, last night there was a huge landslide which happened in the Mandi and Chandigarh National Highway. Though there is no loss of a life at present, but administration is still figuring out that how they can go about it. But definitely it will take a long time for Himachal Pradesh to come to normal.
The situation there is very, very grim as we come to understand. Thank you so much, both of you, for all those details. And moving on, residents were evacuated from their homes in Algeria's Shia Mountains as wildfires spread, but by Wednesday, firefighters had put out the blaze. Algeria faces seasonal wildfires each summer, often worsened by extreme heat and drought. Authorities have urged vigilance as the region continues to experience high temperatures and dry winds. The wildfire started on August 18th and has affected several provinces in Algeria. While thick plumes of wildfire smoke were seen rising from the mountains in northwestern Spain, the fires, part of a wave of blazes sweeping across the country this month, have already claimed 4 lives and forced the evacuation of thousands of residents. Emergency crews are battling the flames across several regions as high temperatures and dry conditions continue to fuel the crisis. Authorities are urging residents in affected areas to follow evacuation orders and stay alert as fire conditions remain dangerous. And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and on to some business news now. As the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana marks another milestone this August, the transformative financial inclusion scheme continues to reshape the economic landscape of India. Launched in 2014 with a vision of banking the unbanked, the initiative has brought millions into the formal banking system, empowering households with access to savings, credit, insurance, and direct benefit transfers. On its anniversary, we reflect on its journey, achievements, and contribution to the Indian economy.
56.10 crore, 561 million beneficiaries banked so far. 264,195.21 crore rupees balance, or about $31 billion in beneficiary accounts. 13.55 lakh or 1.35 million bank mitras delivering branchless banking services in the country and counting. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana completes 11 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the scheme on the 15th of August 2014, and it came into effect on the 28th of August the same year. This unique scheme has had a profound impact on India's economy over the past 11 years. It is widely regarded as the largest financial inclusion program ever in the world. The scheme has bridged gender and regional disparities, with 55.6% of the accounts being held by women, and 66.6% of them are in rural or semi-urban areas. The Jan Dhan Yojana has laid the foundation for India's digital financial ecosystem, integrating accounts with Aadhaar and mobile numbers. UPI and RuPay card usage exploded. UPI transactions rose from 92 crores in FY 2017-18 to 8,371 crores in FY 22-23. RuPay card transactions at POS and e-commerce doubled from 67 crore to 126 crore in the same period.
आज पीएम स्वनिधि से रेडी पटरी वाला भी, और आपने देखा वो यूपीआई से पैसे लेता है, यूपीआई से पैसे देता है। ये बदलाव आखिरी व्यक्ति तक चिंता, लोगों की लाइफ में सरकार होनी चाहिए। उसी के कारण ये जमीन से जुड़ी योजनाएं बनती हैं, और जमीन से जुड़ी योजनाएं जमीन पर उतरती हैं, और जमीन से उतरी हुई योजनाएं जीवन में बदलाव लाने का एक सशक्त माध्यम बन जाती हैं।
The scheme has helped boost efficiency in direct benefit transfers for subsidies, pensions and welfare schemes, reducing leakage and corruption. The World Bank noted that India achieved its financial inclusion goals in just 6 years, a feat that would have taken 47 years without digital infrastructure. PM Modi has hailed the scheme for its empowerment of women, rural populations, and low-income groups, integrating them into the formal economy and improving access to credit, insurance, and pensions. The increased banking penetration has led to improved savings rates, greater credit access for micro-entrepreneurs, enhanced financial literacy, and trust in formal institutions. The scheme has become a global benchmark for many countries of the Global South. Bureau Report, DD India.
While showcasing the remarkable strides in the journey of Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana in 11 years, sharing on social media platform X, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman wrote that how the social welfare scheme has transformed many lives as over 56 crore accounts opened, 56% women beneficiaries and majority in rural India. While to augment availability of cotton for the Indian textile sector, the central government had temporarily exempted the import duty on cotton from 19th August 2025 till 30th of September 2025. Also, to further support cotton exporters, the central government has decided to extend the import duty exemption on cotton HS 5201 from 30th of September 2025 till the 31st of December 2025. And moving on, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Wednesday said that the Pentagon has issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft. The statement came after an investigative journalism publication reported that Microsoft was using Chinese nationals to service Pentagon cloud environments. Microsoft in July had said that it has ended the practice of using China-based engineers to provide technical support to the U.S. military under the supervision of U.S. digital escorts.
So the use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over. We've issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft documenting this breach of trust, and we're requiring a third-party audit of Microsoft's digital escort program, including the code and the submissions by Chinese nationals. This audit will be free of charge for U.S. taxpayers. I'm also tasking the Department of Defense experts with a separate investigation of the digital escort program and the Chinese Microsoft employees that were involved in it. These investigations will help us determine the impact of this digital escort workaround. Did they put anything in the code that we didn't know about? We're going to find out.
Well, you're watching DD India News Now. Time now for some sports news. First up from US Open, Novak Djokovic overcame an early scare to reach the third round while Casper is knocked out of the US Open in New York. Djokovic, who is chasing a record 25th Grand Slam title, recovered from a set down against American qualifier Zachary Zvezda to win 6-7, 6-3, 6-3, 6-1. The 38-year-old Serbian has reached the third round of the tournament for a record equaling 19th time, where he will face Britain's Cameron Norrie. In other action, Norwegian 12th seed and the 2022 US Open finalist Casper fell to Belgium's Rafael Collignon. In the 3.5 hours contest, the Belgian, who was only playing his second Grand Slam, ended up winning the 5-set thriller 6-4, 3-6, 3-6, 6-4, 7-5. While Britain's Jack Draper withdrew due to injury, giving his second-round opponent Zizou Bergs a walkover into the third round. The withdrawal of Draper clears Yannick Sinner's path towards defending his title. In the women's draw, Britain's Emma Raducanu continued her solid start to the tournament after dispatching Indonesian qualifier Janice Jen 6-2, 6-1. Jen had become the first Indonesian player to reach the main draw of a Grand Slam in 21 years. Fourth seed Jessica Pegula is also into the third round after beating Russian Anna Blinkova 6-1, 6-3. Former champion Daniil Medvedev was fined $42,500 by the US Open for his meltdown during a loss to Benjamin Bonzi. Medvedev lost the opening match on Sunday, but it was his behavior in the third set that dominated the headlines. The 2021 champion launched a tirade against the umpire and whipped up jeering fans who stopped his opponent from serving. The official had allowed Bonzi another first serve when a photographer entered the court just as the French player misfired his first serve. The incident sparked wild scenes as Medvedev raged at the umpire. And Manchester United plumbed to new depths as fourth-tier Grimsby Town knocked them out of the League Cup on a tumultuous night at Blundell Park. Grimsby won a marathon penalty shootout 12-11 after a 2-2 draw during the stipulated time. Goals by Charles Vernam and Tyrell Warren put the host in charge by half-time against the six-time winners of the competition. Brian Mbeumo brought the Red Devils into game with his first goal for the club before Harry Maguire's header forced a shootout. But Matthews Cunha missed the chance to win the tie. Mbeumo hit the bar, giving Grimsby an improbable win. And the Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the submission of a bid to host the Commonwealth Games 2030 in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. The decision also includes approval for signing the host collaboration agreement and providing grant and aid to the Gujarat government if the bid is successful. If awarded, Ahmedabad has been proposed as the host city, offering world-class stadiums, cutting-edge training facilities and a strong sporting culture. The city is home to the Narendra Modi Stadium, the largest cricket stadium in the world, which has already proven its capability by successfully hosting the 2023 ICC Cricket World Cup final. The 2030 Games are expected to see participation from 72 countries with thousands of athletes, coaches, technical officials, media personnel and tourists arriving in India. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.